Good morning. I saw a question on Quora that I thought was pretty cool. The question was, did Trump break his promise to defend America from all enemies, foreign and domestic, when he, got rid of the pandemic response team? Great question. Great question. And I agree with the question in that I think that enemies, foreign domestic, aren't just the red meat enemies. That we have antibacterial resistance, which is something that we should be concerned about. We have viruses, influenza, and all that. We have bacteria, soup bugs out here, bacteria out here. We have the plague. We have this, and some of these diseases, typhus and all that, have to do with just clean water, sanitation, and things of that nature. Some of these things have to do with us just making wise decisions in our own lives. Some of these things are beyond the average layman's understanding of science, and that's why we have the CDC and we have a BARDA and we have what's that? What's that? It's a military lab. They do AMRID, U.S. AMRID. So we have all these things. Stuff out in the desert that nobody can get to. Um, I think that a part of a president's duty is to protect the public from these diseases that, like I said, are beyond our understanding. That really have nothing to do with cleanliness. And that's what we saw with COVID. Is that COVID wasn't about wash your hands and things of that nature. It was airborne. COVID is something that gets up in these buildings, the recirculated air can blow it around and get people who aren't even standing right next to the person who was sick. COVID can, it's a game changer. It was a game changer. And, it amazes me talking with my family. It doesn't really, I've explained to you, spending time with my family showed me a lot about how they see these diseases. And you know, they don't really believe in it. And it's crazy because I had another friend of mine catch COVID while I was out there with them. And they were kind of like, oh, well, yeah, it's a shame. Kind of like, as I said before, anything doesn't make them money, they don't care about it. But when I'm telling him someone I know and care about is sick, he's like, okay, that's messed up. You see, like there's always that I don't know enough about it, but I don't want to know enough about it. I'm not going to look at it. So I'm always going to be, well, it's not that. It's like I'm agnostic. It's I'm saying that I'm not going to read the Bible. I'm not going to go to church. You won't get me in the church. No. But maybe there's a God out there, and maybe one day I will kneel down and ask for forgiveness from him. But today, I ain't messing with no God. That's how he saw it. That's how they saw it. I think that when it comes to what Trump did as far as weakening or getting rid of the pandemic response team, I think it was a cautionary tale for people of, we're going into the future. We're going to be dealing with new crises due to our lack or unwillingness to deal with them before they got to the point of um, outbreaks and things of that nature. And I think that BARDA and all these groups really protect the poor. That's something else I learned about COVID is that when it comes to these mass outbreaks, these government agencies really are for the poor. Because if you're rich, you can just go and live in the summer cabin and just stay there for a year. And just like what I do, get stuff brought to you by Walmart or something. Get stuff delivered to you. You ain't gotta touch nobody. If you're rich, you can do things, and you probably already have things to disconnect you from the general population, and that will buy you time. You're not riding the bus, you're not riding the train. You are at a distance from the average unwashed masses. if you're out there with dishwasher somewhere or something, you don't have those protections. And that means when it comes to outbreaks like COVID, you're on the front lines. And that's what I learned with COVID. So I guess it depends on what part of America you belong to that you think that Trump weakened our response. And I'm very clear about this. It isn't just about what happened. It's about where COVID could have went. One thing about disease control is you're always expecting the unexpected. You don't know how these viruses will change. You don't know how they will evolve or de-evolve. You don't know. So you plan for the worst, and you plan that these things will keep changing. You plan that it's not over with. This mindset Trump came out with, that it will go away when it warms up. And I clown Republicans. I'm like, oh, I thought it would go away when it warmed up. And the UV light. I thought that was gonna get rid of it, right? All of this, and I clown them because it's such an immature mindset that I don't believe in COVID because it is. I don't believe in this because it's inconvenient to what I'm doing. That is such an immature mindset. Me going out in the rain, I still bring a jacket. I just think that Trump didn't do his job, but you have to think about who he is, who he thinks he's representing. If you think Trump represents the whole country, yes, he didn't do his job. He broke his oath. But if you think that Trump represents people who don't believe in science, I mean, they have a suspicion, hermeneutics of suspicion when it comes to government working properly and science and all that. B, rich people who don't care about what happens to us. C, people who are willing to who have this mindset that everything that happens is the Antichrist and the mark of the beast, and anything that modern science does now is about 3G, 5G. The vaccines got the mark of the beast, and they're trying to make us gay. If those three right there, if you think Trump represents those people, no, he didn't break his oath. He serves that class of ignorant, bigoted, irresponsible people who are unto themselves. Great question. Thanks for listening.